Hi guys, I'm DragonBeaz. That's Cindershots. We
Hi.
are both members of the Aura Guardian stream team. Silent, thank you for the subscription. The alert is behind those screens. I don't know why. So yeah, we've been meaning to do this for a while. A few little hiccups along the way. We've finally gotten here today. And so yeah, episode 1 of the AuraCast. Let's go with that. Hey!
Hi.
Hopefully there was audio with that, because it didn't play on my end.
And I have it muted so I couldn't check.
Holy shit, AG is on a hype train.
Oh my god. You know what, that's a good way to start. Hi everyone.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Guys, thank you for the support, like, straight away. You guys are insane. Jesus.
So, anyway, I think best place to start is that, obviously, this is a new thing for AG. So I'm going to introduce myself. Thank you for the bits, Alex. I appreciate that. And then Cinder can introduce himself as well. Some of you would already know us. Some of you may not. We don't know. You know. So yeah, I'm DragonBeaz. I'm actually the team leader and owner of the Aura Guardians. And yeah, so I'm a streamer and very, very dodgily do that. As you can see. See, I'm organising this shit show, so there you go. So anyway, I stream a variety of content. You know, Pokemon, survival games. It's a whole bag of
Final Fantasy.
Whatever comes out. Fine, don't even go there. I was running late for. Here's an interesting story. I was running late for this because I was streaming Final Fantasy on my channel with some friends because it was their wedding. So it was interesting. So yeah. So that's basically me. I've been streaming for just over 2 years. And I've been on Aura Guardians, off of Aura Guardians on that time frame for various different reasons, but then an opportunity came, and here I am now, running the show, which is kind of scary sometimes. But we have an amazing team, and that's honest truth. So we will get onto some things later on. Riley! By the way, quick shout out to Riley. I'm just gonna move this alert thing over here. Riley is the amazing, super amazing artiste. We're gonna make it sound fancy. Who did all the overlays for the AuraCast and the stream stuff that we use as well. So yeah, thank you for the sub, Riley. Don't forget, with your sub, you get the AG fam emote, which is an amazing piece of art done by another member of our team. Smooth segue, Andy Ari.
Nice.
So, you know. Anyway, that's enough about me. I'm going to hand over to my co-host, who is the amazing Cindershots, to tell you all about them. I said amazing, you know.
Thanks.
And he can tell you all about himself.
So yeah, as you heard, my name is Cindershots. Cinder is normally the name a lot of people go by when they talk about me, either to me or about me. Bit terrifying, but it's fine. And I am mostly a Pokemon streamer, but I do a little bit of different playthroughs here and there. I actually have an exciting playthrough coming up. I have been recommended that I start playing the Kingdom Hearts games. So that may or may not be starting on Monday. That's exciting.
Cheap plug.
I mean, it happens. I have also been suggested to tell everyone that I am also a spoon. Don't ask. And I just have a lot of fun with Pokemon-based content. I'm a huge Pokemon nerd. If there's anyone that ever wants to talk to me about anything competitive-based or just Pokemon in general, I'm the guy to go to. It'll be a wonderful conversation, and I could talk your head off for absolutely hours on it. I've been streaming since September 2018, so over a year and a half now, which is terrifying. And I've been part of Aura Guardians since I inquired, and Beaz was like, "Yeah, you can join us. It'll be great." Me and Beaz have had experience before, and like working together in different teams, and it's just always gone well. It's always been a bit crazy.
Medication helps, but we won't talk about that.
But yeah, it's always been a great time. I like to think me and Bees work pretty well together. If I do say so myself, obviously. But it's always a great
Didn't
time.
say
I've been
that, but
part of
he
this
can have
team.
that.
It is a meme at the moment that it's constant. It's constant case of hashtag Cinder out. But you know what? I embrace that. I live in that. It's
I
great.
look, as much as I wanted to kick you out, I just can't. I just can't. I can't bring myself. It's like, you know how like every hero needs the villain, and I feel like you're my villain in this.
Okay, okay then. All right, but yeah, I've been part of this team for a little while now, and I've loved every single part of it. I've loved everyone that I've interacted with on this team, and you will too if you join the Discord. The Discord link will show up every now and then in chat. Make sure you click it if you're not part of it already. Smooth, I know. Let's go on.
So okay, so here's the thing. Moving forward with the AuraCast, so there's going to be some aspects to the AuraCast. It is going to be a bit of a testing ground for things as well. But the plan is that the AuraCast will sort of help support our weekly. That's if I remember to write it. Blog. And so basically, it will help us to be able to go into more detail about that and talk about stuff that's happening in our community because there's so much going on in AG all the time. And then on top of all that, we will have guests coming in as well. And bit of a scheduling conflict today. There was meant to be a guest, and time zones like to do their thing, and so that'll be probably next week. So that's cool. And then obviously the other thing we want to talk about is we're streamers and most of us play video games. And so we do want to cover that and what we're sort of playing and, talk about different aspects of the video game industry as well. So there'll be a bit of everything. And obviously it will be very dependent on what the guest is as well. So yeah, so that's basically the short version of it. So let's talk about what's happening in AG at the moment. Now, there's a crazy amount of stuff happening in AG at the moment. It's almost too much to keep up with sometimes, but we do somehow. So before we get on to some of the really in-depth stuff, I just want to quickly mention we've got about 12 days. No, that's not good maths. 11 days because it's June. There's 30 days in June, just to let you know. And we have been fundraising for the Trevor Project as part of our AG fam stream with Pride event. So there's been a few people who've jumped on board with that. We have raised quite a bit of money already. We did unlock community movie nights, which we're starting hopefully in July.
Yes.
So that'll be something, and we'll try and keep a variety of genres throughout that, so that it's not just a particular genre that not everyone's going to like. So you should find something you'll be wanting to watch throughout that time. So yeah, so the Trevor Project, for those of you who don't know, is an organisation that deals with people with in the LGBT community who are dealing with depression. And they also work with suicide prevention and management for people under the age of 25. And so it's something that's actually quite personal to a few of us on the team. A number of us are LGBT.
Hi.
Me! Ta-da! No. And so it's been an amazing opportunity to raise some money towards that and have a bit of fun doing that as well, and bringing awareness to such an amazing organisation. So, so yeah, that's absolutely a good thing, and to check it out. The information is on our Twitter and has been on and off for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So we're getting towards the tail end of that, but doesn't mean that the support can't still come through, basically. So yeah, check that out. Before we go, and then we move on to the next thing I was going to talk about, and this is a big one, is that the Summer Recruitment Challenge has officially, the applications for that are open. They're open until the end of the month. Which is the 30th of June, because June has 30 days. We've established this. So if you are looking for a chance to join the team and you haven't already applied, feel free to do so. The applications are available on our website. And basically, the recruitment challenge is so the first 2 weeks is the application process, and there's some questions you just got to answer. Nothing too in depth. It's not like we're not interrogating you. We are interrogating you, but that's okay.
We don't bite much,
we-
but it's all good.
yeah, and at the end of the day, we want to create a diverse range of people on the team who work together and not just even on stream, off stream, hang out as friends.
Have that
AG,
sense of community, family, and just
when
passion about them.
when we say AG fam, we mean that. It's not just we don't we have a commercial side to this that we need to be able to grow, but it's very much about this tight knit community, and that's what we are looking for in our streamers. So it's literally a family situation. While I'm at it, I better mod that person. Otherwise,
The last recruitment challenge we did was a very fun one. Everyone was so behind it, and everyone was so excited to try and get involved with the. It is a family, and when we welcomed a couple new people in, there was just so much togetherness about it, and everyone was so excited. Even the people that didn't get through this time, you can try again this time, and just focus on just being yourself. And that's the main tip I can pass forward. If you'll be yourself, that shines through more than anything else. If you have a passion for what you do, you have a sense of community and togetherness about you, then you're going to fit right in with the family that we have at Aura Guardians. So it's going to be a great time. I'm excited to see what people are going to be showing and what people are like. Very excited to meet people.
There's the Discord link if you want to join, by the way. It's just popped up in chat. Thank you for gifting a sub to Banana, Matthias. So yeah, and so that's the most important thing. And then what will be happening is that the management of the team, there's a select few of us that do all the background stuff. We'll be looking at all the applications over the course of July, and then we'll be announcing someone on the 1st of August. Now, what we want to get out of the recruitment challenge that's different to the last time is that it's a level of getting to understand the applicants better. And spend a bit more time, in their chat, or if they want to collaborate with any member of the team, to get in contact with us, and there might be an opportunity there, and really sort of see how you fit with the team. And that's kind of what we want to gain out of this, is that we want the pieces to fit, so that everyone works together well, and we're happy, and and enjoy working with each other. Is basically the gist of it. So
just have a good time, really.
Yeah. So if you want to check that out, check it out on the website. It's on the so that's auraguardianstv.com. And go to the Become a Guardian tab, and all the information's there, and the application form you can apply from there as well. So that's that. Oh god. What else has been happening in AG? Everything's happening in AG. So let me just have a quick look at something here. Also, so we got that. I've covered that. Obviously, the AuraCast is launching this week. Funny that.
I can just imagine Beaz with a checklist, like a checkboard. It's like tick, yep, that one.
It's
that one,
kind of that. I'm actually looking at the announcements channel in the Discord.
Oh.
Of course. The other thing, which our esteemed captain of that team is here, Real Marky Mark, is that we are starting to look at some competitive games. The first being Valorant, and so there will be some more details coming out about that. There is a form that you can fill out if you want to apply for that, and there's a Discord role specifically for that as well. If you want any further information, my best advice would be to contact either Toma or Mark, and ask, so that they can let you know what they're planning on doing with that. The other thing that we've also started is a Destiny 2 clan, which is available for anyone to join. Any member of the community can join that. And we may be looking at some competitive stuff with that at a later date as well. So there is that.
The opportunities and potential is endless. We never know what we might end up expanding in. So, yeah, information's on Discord about that, if you're interested, of course.
Oh, it's
be a great time.
So yeah, that's that as well. So there's a lot going on in AG. There's a lot of plans happening in the background as well that we continue to work on. And the best ways to find out any of this information is to follow us on Twitter, or be in the Discord, or both. And obviously our website. We do a weekly blog. As I said, most weeks. Occasionally it gets forgotten, and I get very angry with myself.
I just
So
want to also like I'm gonna like break the flow of everything for a second. If there are random noises from my end, it's because that some work vans or whatever are outside in the car park outside where I live. Just of all times right now. So if there's clanging of metal pipes, I apologize.
oh no, that's the people we've finally sent to take you away and lock you up.
You'll never take me.
I forgot to tell you about that. The podcast was an elaborate ruse, but it was all about
keep me distracted.
content always.
Oh.
So yeah, so there's lots of things going on in AG. The other thing is, during this podcast, if you want to ask a question, because the chat has been moving very quickly, there is a redemption in the channel points, which you can use to ask a question. Please use that. It will make things a lot easier. You earn points through watching anyway, so if you want to ask questions, and we will have a Q&A at the end if there's anything you want to ask either of us, then obviously relevant stuff, no, I don't want to date anyone. I don't know. I'm supposed
taken, so
yeah. We're accounted for. No, and this is the tone of the stream, is that we want to be lighthearted. Is the team is lighthearted at the end of the day.
Just relaxed. Like there's no reason to have to worry about what you might say or do. It's just a sense of family. Like when we say family, like B said earlier, we do genuinely mean it. It's just such a wonderful place to be for the people that you just can find really easy to communicate with, and it's great time.
So yeah, the other thing I'll just quickly cover, which I will go into more detail because these people are going to be coming on to the podcast at some stage, but I just want to detail. So obviously I'm team leader, so I oversee everything. But
sort of flex.
There are other people on the team who have got responsible roles, and the team wouldn't function without those people. Our community manager, Charming Bowtie, who is basically my right-hand man when it comes to things. We sit down and talk about everything that needs to be talked about with AG for the most part, and they're an amazing member of our team. So he will be coming onto the stream at some stage. Our social media manager, Silent, who is in the chat, lurking around.
Real Silent.
She will also be coming on. She's another amazing person. She's always onto our Twitter. She's always sorting everything out with that. So yeah, Silent is awesome as well. And then of course we have our content creation manager, who is Toma, who has been overseeing the team application process and the summer recruitment challenge, who was going to be on today. Confusion. Hopefully we'll be able to get Toma on next week and go into a bit more detail about the AG recruitment challenge.
Also, a person whose name
he's here.
Mispronounce. Oh my god! I always mispronounce your name. I always say Tuma, not Toma. I apologize. I keep trying to correct
He's not
myself.
A Tuma.
Sometimes it just happens. I know. But yeah, apologies.
So Toma, apologies. It was. I'll take responsibility. It was my mess up with time zone conversion stuff. So we'll get you on next week because I just completely messed it up. So yeah. We'll talk about that with Toma next week. So if you are looking to apply for the team, check out next week's podcast, and we can go through it then. I mean, there's always a time for a late arrival. Well, I knowing how much trouble I had setting this up with the camera, I don't know if I want to risk adding a third person mid-podcast.
Go back to the start of the stream.
I was going to say, it was a bit of a shit show.
Oh, man.
So,
it was great. No, we'll figure it out. We'll sort it out.
I love time zones. Time zones are the bane of my existence. So that's pretty much the AG stuff to cover. Because as I said, those people will be coming on the podcast next few weeks. So I'm sure we'll go into a lot more depth with stuff. I want to talk about video games, and
yes,
there has been a just ton a ton. Time zones are easy if you have Google. Time zones aren't. I disagree. Time zones frustrate me.
Oh man, time
Um,
zones can be a right pain in the backside, man.
so, there's been so much going on in video games this week, or in the last couple of weeks. I think let's start with the PlayStation 5 stuff. I think
Yes,
let's start with the
please.
PlayStation 5 because that was a big thing this week. So for those of you who've potentially been living under a rock, the PlayStation the PlayStation 5 reveal happened, and a whole just plethora of information and games were announced.
I loved what I saw with that stream. I absolutely loved it. I sort of flex again. I with my community streamed and watched it as it happened, and there were so
I
many
tuned in.
things in it. You did, and there were so many things. I was like, yes, I'm excited because I've been someone who has had an Xbox for the longest of time. We had a PS2 back in the day. That was the latest PlayStation console we ever owned, and then it was all Xbox from there on. I'll be honest with everything that's been shown about the PlayStation and the information we know about the Xbox, I'm converted. Like I see these games, I think I can't wait to play them. The Ratchet and Clank one looks amazing. There's that one game called Stray, which yes, I want to play as a cat.
That one was like
so good.
that one was like what that threw me for a second because it was like I don't know. I thought it might have been just a cutscene, and then like, no, wait, hang on. There seems to be a bit of controlling of this cat. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
we're playing as a cat now. All right.
Well, it's weird because like you see all these people with like old school television heads,
Yeah.
and then the next thing you see is a cat, and then it just focuses on it. It's like that's not what I expected, but yes, please.
Let's talk about the design of the. We'll start with the design of the PS4, and then we'll go into the major games in that were
The PS5, you mean?
PS5, yeah, sorry, PS4, PS5. Let's talk about the PS4. No, let's talk PS5. The design.
I like the look of it. I know a lot of people are memeing on it, and the memes are hilarious. The memes that come out of it, but it looks good. It's huge.
It's a massive console, and I was saying that to somebody the other day, and I guess their answer was it needs somewhere to house all of this technology. I mean, in saying that, things can be made a lot smaller, but this thing is massive. And I'm sort of concerned. It's giving me a PS3 original console vibes because that was kind of like a big chunky thing.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, so maybe not as big as this, but it was a big box. So I don't know. I'm not convinced about the design until I see it, and I was like that with the Switch. I wanted to believe in the Switch, but I was like,
Really?
I'm not going to judge that until I actually physically see it because it's hard to.
I love the look of the Switch as soon as I saw it. I'm glad I have one. The Switch is like one of my favorite consoles I've ever owned. Plus, the Pro controller, I have it next to me. The best controller I've ever held. It is such a nice controller to have. But the PS5 looks good. It looks better standing up than it does lying on its side. That's a fact.
Lying on its side, it looks like one of those fancy apartment buildings that's been designed by like a designer. It's got that like curvature. You know, it's like in Los Angeles near the beach. It's like
I hate that I'm not going to be able to unsee that now. It does look like all it needs is wings and it can take off on a runway, but like it looks. I'm not a fan of the controller though. A lot of people are saying they like it. I'm not a fan of it. It just looks a bit.
The controller looks like it's halfway between a Switch Pro controller and an Xbox controller. But it's not a good balance, and it's one of those things as well. I thought the Switch Pro controller might be a bit weird until I got one, and I absolutely love my Pro controller.
It feels so good to use.
I think once we get the controller and actually get a feel for how it holds, it might be a different story. Because for the most part, I've never found a PlayStation controller to be uncomfortable. So
I'm not a massive fan of them. My younger brother has a PS4 and I've had the controller, and while it's not terrible to use, I guess since I'm so used to like Xbox controllers over time and the Switch controller, it just felt weird to use. I don't know why. It just felt. It felt something was off, but I wasn't too sure what it was.
I love Silent's description there. It's like a bloated DualShock 4 or a slimmed down Xbox controller.
I mean, yeah.
It's either like it's ate
midpoint.
too much or it's gone on a diet. One of the two. It's in between.
It looks like it's eaten too much and gone on a diet straight after.
Yeah, it's just...
And it's like, I don't know.
So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. They did show like there's a headset and there's they made a big point of the media remote, which I have to say, did the PS4 come with an official media remote? Because the PS3 did, and I don't know...
I can't answer that. I'm not too sure.
I don't remember if the PS4 actually came with a media remote. But the my opinion of the console, until I see it, my concerns are I would have loved it if it was the reverse almost, and that it was more black than white. And the reason, it's just because I find that the Sony brand is so synonymous now with, you know, the slick black console.
Mm.
But a change is refreshing sometimes, so it could be a blessing in disguise. The other thing is, as I said, the size of it is going to be an interesting thing as to how much space it's going to take up on a desk or whatever. And I know that sounds really strange, but some people are really picky about that kind of stuff. So
Silent in chat. It looks like it's just coming out of quarantine and eating way too many quarantine snacks and slimming down way too quickly to be healthy.
it's like it's gorged itself on during quarantine and then just stopped eating. So, like
it's gonna go to hibernate for the winter.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a bear. It's the bear of console controllers. It's a hibernation.
Oh, Jesus.
So, games wise,
Yes.
the other thing the interesting thing is before we get onto the games, there was no price.
Yeah.
Which is
apparently the price has been leaked, but I don't believe it.
It's very telling because one thing Sony made a mistake with, and as much as I've had all the Sony consoles since the first one, is the PS3 era. For those who bought one at that time, when it first released in Australia, sorry, I'm Australian, shock horror, I'm using Australian dollars, was 999 Australian dollars at launch, and it did not sell because it was too expensive. My concern is Sony going to overprice their console?
I think it will upon release. These leaked prices that were shown, it was somewhat like, if I remember correctly, $499 for one of the versions. I'm like, it's not going to be that cheap. It's not going to be that cheap. They're going to be selling a lot if they do that. But even still, I won't be surprised if even in the great British pound, I wouldn't be surprised if it's
Aussie dollary dues of the great British pound. Sorry,
I wouldn't be surprised if it's at least 750.
I'm expecting. I'm gonna go with a bit of a guess of $699. I think it's gonna come out $699, and I think people can freak the fuck out. Oh, I swore. Sorry.
Oh.
Beep.
Wait, I have a button for this. Wait, hold on. Don't know if it'll come through.
Oh, you do have a button. And that's the honest God truth. I've put the M-rate, I've put the mature warning thing on our channel anyway.
Oh, that's alright then.
There's many of our stream team who have no filter.
Hi, it's me.
I expect it to be incredibly expensive. I mean, if Nintendo can price the Switch as expensive as it was on launch, there's no way that Sony is going to price it around the same price range, especially with what it's capable of. And I can't imagine what it's costing to make.
I am tempted to just wait until January sales and see what happens, because I don't think I'd be happy spending a lot of that kind of money. I still want one. That's going to be a fact. I'm getting one. But straight away, I don't think I'd want to.
So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one with the price, and that's why I'm concerned that they haven't actually given us a price. It seemed like a weird move, considering it's really not that far away from it launching. So, it'll be interesting to see when that comes out. So, on to games. Huge numbers of things announced from
Ratchet and Clank, yes please.
I was going to say, from small things to some really big titles. Ratchet and Clank's getting a game, and that looked incredible. What is it? Rift Away? Rift
Yeah.
Rift Away.
Yeah, I think so.
Rift. rifted to the ceiling.
Rift ceiling fan. Yeah, that one.
Into a ceiling fan.
No.
Oh dear.
Gran Turismo 7 for the racing game fans. I'm excited for that one. Granted, the UI in that game looks very similar to older games, but I don't think that's a bad thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it looked really, really good.
Yeah, I did see that. Horizon Zero Dawn getting a sequel.
I forgot what that
which
one's called.
it's a direction, something west. The out Forbidden West. No,
that way into the west. There we go.
some direction in the west. I'm gonna bring up a list of the PlayStation 5 announcements.
In the west.
I
don't know.
Oh, it was Forbidden West. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, the mysterious voice in the background.
Ooh, spooky. So yeah, here we go. Now I've got a list. So, these are in order. So let's talk in order because that might be easier. So,
Yes.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
About you, jouw online
Let
fashion.
the game die.
I just deafened everyone because it played an automatic video. Wonderful.
That game. I'm okay. Right. When that was first, I'm glad that was shown at the start of the show because
Sorry.
Come on, come on, Beaz, you got this. I'm glad that was shown at the start of the show because
It was
I don't
disappointing.
know. I get if it's still got an audience, then sure, milk it. But like, I don't know. I don't see the point in it anymore.
I don't know if I'm okay, maybe I'm happy I'm not there. Thanks. So yeah, we're gonna iron all the problems out, and then it'll be smooth as silk when you're here.
Hopefully.
So my thoughts with that is this is the first time I think ever that a game has gone across 3 generations of console.
The same game, yeah.
It's exactly the same
Thing
game.
is, it's not really getting any graphical improvements. It's still the same game. It's not like it's been remade for it.
They're just moving it to, over to the GTA is the new Skyrim. It's going to be on everything.
But even Skyrim was only on 2 generations.
Oh, trust me, I'm going to help you. I was actually wonderful. Also, Spider-Man. Now, this is an interesting one. Spider-Man is getting. Everyone was thinking it was a sequel, and it's not.
And it's not, yeah.
It's an expansion, for the lack of a better term, to the PS4 game, but they are remastering the PS4 game for the PS5. So you get all of the game plus this Miles Morales content, and this content is like Uncharted had the Lost Legacies. It was like part of that, but standalone, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't make it its own game for money reasons. They could have made a lot of money off that if it was its own game. And I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of like superhero stuff in general. I'm kind of tempted to check it out, but I don't know if I'm going to rush to get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not too sure about that one yet. It looks good though. It does look great.
It's an incredible game. I've not played it myself, but I've watched a friend of mine play it, and it is an incredible game. So I know there's a really hardcore base for that game. So I know how excited people were to see this was coming out. So it's one of those things. It's a standalone spin-off of that main PS4 game that came out. And so so it's they're calling it an enhanced and expanded version of the 2018 game.
Which, yeah, all right, like that's not a problem. But one thing I didn't like is that it didn't specify that on the show.
No, it came across as very much Spider-Man 2.
It made it look like it made it look like a new entire game, and I don't know how I feel about that one. But I mean, it's more Spider-Man, isn't it? Like, if people like Spider-Man, they're going to enjoy it.
Oh, exactly. As you said, Gran Turismo 7 is coming.
Getting it. Straight up getting it.
They've said it's going to feature a campaign mode, so it looked really good. Rift Apart.
Yes, please. I have loved Ratchet & Clank for so many years, and I'm glad to see this new game. I'm excited. The trailer showed off this new different dimension female Ratchet character, which looked very cool. The seamless transition between stages through rifts looks very cool, and it was gameplay based. It wasn't like a pre-rendered trailer.
No.
It was gameplay, and it looked amazing. It looks so good.
Yeah, they featured a whole heap of gameplay, including there was some rail grinding stuff,
Yes.
which looked really cool. And then there was a section with like the flying on an alien creature thing as well. So it looked good. One thing I'll say about all of the PS5 games they showed off, even if some of them were in alpha build and that, they looked amazing.
Oh yeah.
Which is what you
And there was also Grand Theft Auto 5, but don't worry about it.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah. Project Athia was very, very, very briefly shown. It was werewolf-like creatures and flying sections. That was about. It was one of those games where they've just gone. Here's a game we're developing. Here's a little teaser. It's coming sometime in the near 5 years.
Whenever. Yeah.
Yeah, and they do that a lot. Because a lot of these AAA Sony games are years of development.
Yeah.
And so that's happening. And then Stray.
Stray, another game on my list of games I'm getting as soon as it releases. That looks... the little that was shown, I was invested. I was pulled in. I'm so excited for that. I get to play as a kitty cat. Yes, please.
It was literally like they've said, a robot-focused game called Stray set in a world where humans have died off. Cats, however, are still in abundance.
Wow. Just to throw that little tidbit in there.
And robots have appeared to replace humanity in their old roles.
But what's going to be like the interaction between the feline and the technical?
Buy Stray and you'll find out.
Nice. Thanks, Sony.
I was going to say. Checks in the mail. No, Returnal was another one.
Returnal looked good.
Yeah, which is an arcade focused developed by Arcade Focused Housemarque. It's a crash landing on an alien planet where the protagonist keeps reliving the same events over and over again.
You're doing so well.
So it had like a Groundhog Day kind of situation where they'd be reliving the same thing over and over and over again.
There's another game like that was also shown in the show, but we'll get to that later.
And so I was interested in this. I think it's going to be good. And so every time you die, the planet changes.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting. It's an interesting
concept. To be a mix of like Groundhog Day and like a roguelite type game.
Yeah.
And I'm very intrigued to how with a kind of like a horror kind of aspect to it.
I thought to begin with it was a horror game, and I'm not sure yet if it has got some horror aspects to it. I don't know.
I think it's going to be horror in the sense of like, oh, look at these weird creatures. I don't think it's going to be a scary game.
3D Dead Cells with guns. There you go.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
I was never a huge fan of Little Big Planet, but I can see the charm in this game.
The way I would describe this, it's like they took Sackboy and threw him into Mario. It was that kind of like Galaxy or 3D World or all of those ones.
And to give it credit, it does look good. It does look fun.
It did look fun, and it was very endearing, and that's Sackboy for you. He does have that endearing quality. He's very cute. So yeah, it'll be 3D platforming as opposed to the 2D from the first few games.
Also, it's going to be a bit redundant to say at this point over and over again, but like with its art style, it looks so good. It does look like a really good game graphically wise. Yeah, graphical wise rather.
Graphically speaking.
Graphically, yeah. The textures look amazing.
Yeah, it did, and that's as I said, this was almost uniform across the board. It was showcasing what the PS5 is capable of, even in this early development for games.
Talking of which, just a little quick tangent about that show. The people that were talking in between the games, I still haven't yet decided if that was actual footage of people or if it was like CGI.
Wait, what?
Like, when the people were speaking in between the games, there were a couple of people that were speaking. It looked like, you look computer generated, but I can't quite figure it out. I don't know if it was just me, but...
Well, you think there was like a subtle Easter egg that they were all CGI'd?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, with some of them, it's like, okay, that you've been recorded, that's great. With some of them, I don't know.
Yeah, I can see why. There was a couple of them that looked a bit... Yeah, but some... here's the thing: some of these video game people, and I mean this with no disrespect whatsoever, but some video game people are really good at selling their product, and some video game people come across as robots.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and you see that, especially when you watch things like E3 and that. It's like some of them have got a real passion and drive that comes across physically, and then there's others who can't represent how much they've put into this game, and they come across as robotic. And
You're
I know.
breathtaking. Remember that?
So the other ones we'll quickly zoom through some of these because they're Destruction All Stars, which is basically
Looks good.
bumper cars but destructive
My
version.
kind of game.
Kana Bridge of Spirits was gorgeous.
Yeah, that looks charming. That looks like a game I could spend time in.
It kind of gives me a cross between like a Breath of the Wild kind of feel and Ori, that kind of feel good. It's that environmentally like feeling good, beautiful graphics adventure kind of situation. It's that kind of vibe for me. So they were real people with no rendering errors. If Ubi handled it, there would at least one inside out face.
Just the eyes and teeth and nothing else.
I love that.
We're looking at you, Assassin's Creed Unity. Anyway,
Goodbye Volcano High.
that looked like my kind of game. That looked really good.
It screams at me like Cuphead in art style. It's that hand-drawn, animated style that has been quite well loved in the past by people. So this will be interesting to see how this comes together.
It looks like the kind of game that's been passionately created by one person and really thought out. Like, it looks so good. I love story-based games, and this looks like it's got its own unique charm to it that other games haven't had before.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited.
So then Oddworld had a Oddworld Soulstorm.
I almost took off my headphones in excitement after you mentioned that. It looks so good. I loved. Okay, one of my favourite PlayStation games of all time is Abe's Odyssey.
Very
to
good
see
game.
this game and the way the trailer ended.
Yes.
I'm getting this game. I'm getting it. Like, it looks so good. I'm getting it. I'm going to be able to relive my joys from playing Abe's Odyssey and the Oddworld remake.
Ghostwire Tokyo, which is being developed by Bethesda and Tango Gameworks.
Yes, please. Looks like a right mix of action and scary, and I love it.
It looks good. Jet Far Shore.
That looked boring as hell. Sorry, but
I didn't understand it.
There wasn't much that was shown. It was like, oh, look at this place you can fly through.
It gave me No Man's Sky vibes in that we sort of just sat there looking at it going, I don't understand. It could be interesting, but it also could be a disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, even No Man's Sky managed to come back from such an awful review bombing situation and became a good game. No
Man's Sky's got an incredible amount of content now.
Yeah, I played it at the start of this year roundabouts, and it was so fun. But I don't know, it just looks like it's missing game. Like, I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't think I'll enjoy it.
Is this game?
Yeah, is this gameplay? No. I think I'll pass on Jet. I'll let other people play it.
It's Mob Psycho 100, but realistic. I'm hyped for Ghostwire. Yeah, Ghostwire looked good.
Ghostwire looked amazing.
Godfall.
What one was that?
Godfall was a melee combat thing. It was like supernatural sci-fi elements.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
You'll be able to unlock godlike armor and defeat powerful foes. It was. Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
It looks good.
It was a bit hack and slash, that kind of thing.
It looks good, but it also looks like something that's like something you can complete in an hour. Something that's very grindy, like loot-wise. And I don't know. I'll have to look more into that and see what I think. There was an old game on Xbox 360 called Ascend Hand of Cool, if I remember correctly. It's like an Xbox arcade game. It was online multiplayer all the time, and it had like these 3 deities that you could pray to, and you could interact with other players depending on which deity they prayed to. Yeah. It kind of gave me vibes of that kind of game, which is exciting, but I'm still nervous that it might end up becoming a train wreck of a game. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
Looks like Dark Souls, but with clunky armor, and they tried to take the Warhammer 40.
Yeah.
It's a weird.
I,
It was a weird one.
I think you nailed that down to a T, honestly.
Solar Ash.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna end up talking a lot about this, so you go first.
Well, now this is the one that was like, oh god, what's the name of the game? It looked like
Hyper Light Drifter.
Yeah, I've never played that. I don't really know much about that, so I'm not sure.
This is why I'm excited. Hyper Light Drifter was a very, very fun game, and looking at Hyper Light Drifter and then looking at Solar Ash, they look to be very similar universes. Solar Ash to me looked like Hyper Light Drifter but 3D. And I know that they're separate games, but it's obvious that it's the same developers and not in a bad way.
Yeah,
I'm very excited for this because Hyper Light Drifter is in my I'd say top 30 games of all time.
oh, okay.
And I'm very excited to see what Solar Ash can do. It looks so good.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looked good, but I've never played that sort of game.
Play Hyper Light Drifter. It's great. It's stressful and it'll make you rage, but it's a very good game.
It's a great sales pitch.
I mean, he's got to get good, ain't you? It's fine.
Now, I have some really, really strong feelings about how the presentation of this next game was handled, and I'm pretty sure Cinder's on the same page. Hitman 3.
Oh my god. Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, you go first.
What was with... Okay.
The creepy aesthetic.
It
Why?
was so creepy. I thought it was a horror game. I honestly thought it was a horror game until they went and then they showed enough that we're like, is this Hitman?
Hitman, what happened?
Just,
Like...
it was very creepy, and it was like, I don't know. It just didn't, to me, it didn't strike Hitman until they sort of showed Agent 47, and I went, oh, this is Hitman.
Then the gameplay of him climbing up into the tower, and then into the vents, and then that was it.
Yeah. It was...
I'm not a massive fan of the Hitman games anyway. It's not that I don't like them, it's just they're just kind of not for me. But Hitman 3 just looks like it's trying to be something it really isn't. I don't know if that's going to work for it.
I don't know whether... Here's the thing. I don't know whether it was a poor choice on how it was promoted or revealed, or it is actually going to
Or
be
the game.
or it's actually going to be that creepy. So I don't know. It was
Why
a weird...
that scene?
I don't know. It just creeped me out. It was weird, and I just don't understand it. So that was my thought on it. It hasn't sold me on it whatsoever.
I'm leaving Hitman 3 to the people that like the series. I'm gonna leave that behind.
Astro's Playroom.
I mean, it's just a PlayStation thing. That's going to be a software on the PlayStation itself, I think, and it's going to be a cute little platformer with cute little creatures based around the PlayStation like designs and icons. It looks cute. It looks very fun.
Maybe that, and just to go back on Hitman and see what Alex has just put there. I assume that they wanted some contrast to the first game since they all seem the same. Very true. So whether or not they were trying to change the tone a little bit to make it feel different but familiar, I don't know if they nailed it. I mean,
the thing is with Hitman, like, there's a certain style of game that it is. If you stray too far away from it, it shows you're trying too hard. If you can just nail down what the game is at its core, which is a contract assassination, be sneaky, or do it your own way kind of game, to focus on that, then it's going to be a good game.
Never forget the sexy rocket launcher on Hitman Absolution.
I lost interest in Hitman, man.
Oh, God.
It's
this
not
is a
the game it used to be.
Little Devil Inside.
Yes, the art style was so charming. I love the look of that game.
They showed off some frozen tundras and cities as some of the settings for it. It did look quite good. I was quite impressed.
I'm going to be playing that one for sure.
NBA 2K21. I'm not a sports game person. I played WWE. Not this last one because that's not WWE. That's something that they pulled out of the trash and just stuck in a game. And so overall, it looked amazing. And that's the one thing I'll say about most of these sports games. They look very realistic.
Great.
But they're just not my kind of gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, WWE games, like, I'm a WWE nerd myself, I'm a fan. So, like, the WWE games I'd play, but, like, the last few ones have been absolutely atrocious. But this one, if you enjoy going into like the Ultimate Team equivalent of that game and spending a lot of money on players for your teams, then go for it. I'm sure you're gonna have a great time if you're a basketball fan. But for
Yeah.
me, nah.
I love that description. That's an Ubisoft game in disguise. It's not WWE.
Oh my god, WWE, the games have been done so dirty, and it makes me sad.
Because they've always been. I mean, every game can have its glitches and that, but overall, they've been really solid games. I don't know what the hell
Up
they did.
until about 2K16. From that point onwards,
it just kind of went.
yeah.
So, another game I want to play just because it's so ludicrously stupid is Bug Snacks.
Yes.
And I love the fact I'm reading this description of this off of GameSpot. They've put here a charming game featuring a Steve Irwin style wildlife expert.
Oh no. Oh no.
I remember sitting there watching the trailer for this and going, "What the hell am I watching?"
I was confused. I thought it was a horror game, and then it was a charming game, and then it was a horror game at the end again. I was like, what is this? One thing that does annoy me though is like a lot of these commercial social media companies, the companies on social media, sorry, that are like everyone's been saying the same thing. Anyone else got the Bug Snacks theme stuck in their head? Look at us, we're relatable. But like, Bug Snacks is like that one game that's going to be memed hard. Everyone's going to enjoy it, but no one's going to admit that they enjoy it. And it's going to be memed by companies on social media for like 3 years from now.
Absolutely. It's smart marketing, and it's a game that's going to sell because it's just
for sure.
It's just stupid.
Hold my
But
hands
in
up
the
right
best
now,
way.
admitting it. I'm getting it.
Oh, I'm
gonna have
getting
fun
it.
with
I think it for people who are streamers, I think that game is going to be amazing content
What do you mean?
creation.
I'm gonna have a great time. I'm gonna have Bug
just-
Snacks posters across my wall. I'm gonna have a plush version of the mascot himself just sat on my bedside table. It's gonna be. I'm gonna cuddle up with him at the night time. It's gonna be great.
If you're into the, if you want to do like comedic stuff, I can see that being a great game for that.
Oh, for sure. It looks hilarious.
It would be amazing. Not that they showed any of this, and this is just me wishing. It would be amazing if there was some sort of co-op to that game.
Oh my god! If there is co-op, we're doing it.
I was gonna say co-op Bug Snacks would be amazing.
Oh no! Okay.
These are all PS5 exclusive for the most part. That I've read off. A lot of them were. There is the occasional one that isn't, but most of them were PS5 exclusive, as far as I'm aware. Demon Souls is getting a remake.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've never played the original, but I know a lot of people that have that are very excited for this. Some people thought it was a new game. It's actually a remake / remaster of an old game from back in the day before Dark Souls became a thing. Same developers, but it's kind of like the precursor to Dark Souls, and it looks difficult. It looks amazing. I can't wait to play it and smash my controller into pieces. It's gonna be great.
Brilliant. That game does look cool. Toma seems excited about Demon Souls. Just a little. Just a little.
If it wasn't shown by the character lights, woo!
Yeah, exactly.
Ric Flair style.
Deathloop. That's the other one.
Please, yes, thank you. I love the look of this game. Talking about Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
This looks... Okay, I haven't quite figured out, because there's 2 assassins in this game, the one you play as, and the one that's trying to assassinate you. Now, I want to see if there's some multiplayer versus mode based on that. If there is, it's gone from a 10 out of 10 to a 15 out of 10 for me. But I'm still getting the game regardless. It looks amazing. The style looks great. It looks like it's got humor. It's not afraid to swear. It looks great.
It was good. It looked interesting. I'm tempted. A few of these games I want to see more gameplay of. But yeah, it was a good concept. I like the idea of it.
I'm sold completely. I'm getting that game on release. Fact.
The next one, which I am super excited about, and that is Resident Evil Village.
Hey, when this was shown, I could tell it was a Resident Evil game straight away.
Yeah.
I liked Resident Evil 7. I liked it. I didn't love it. I'm not a huge fan of the games. I don't think I'm going to be getting this one. Again, it's one of those where I don't know why I don't love it because it is a great game, great series, but survival horror, it needs to be like hit a certain way for me to like really love it, and Resident Evil isn't that for me. I don't
No.
know why.
For me, it is. I've played Resident Evil 7 a lot, and Resident Evil 7 for me was amazing. I played it through several times, and I am interested to see where they take Resident Evil 8 because it is linked to 7.
Yes.
And so I'll be curious to see what direction it takes. It was really, really creepy. Yeah, it was incredibly creepy, and that's basically what you want from a Resident Evil game. Is that and that level of action. Alien Isolation did everything Resident Evil did, but better.
I disagree. Iron Isolation again was a good game, and yes, you're entitled to your opinions. This isn't me saying, "Oh, you're wrong," but like Alien Isolation was a good game, but again, I just didn't enjoy it in the end. There was just something about it. It was like, again, don't know. I can't really explain it, but there was just something about it just felt off.
Yeah, it's Resident. Yeah. I for me, I've played both, and I've played both more than once.
Yes.
And Resident Evil 7 to me they're two very different games. Even though they've got the same elements, I find that Alien Isolation, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. And that game has the ability to, just when you think you're in a safe area, you're not. It is a little long, I
Yeah.
personally think, and I think that's Silent saying, it's repetitive. I think if they took a big section out the middle and shortened it a bit, it would be a much more tighter game. To me, Resident Evil 7 was the right length.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But Resident Evil 7 went from being sort of mysterious at the start to becoming more traditional Resident Evil at the end, where you're just blasting your way through the molded characters and whatever else. Whereas at the start, it's like, you can't do that because you just don't have the weaponry. These guys are going to kill you within 1 to 2 hits, if that.
For the first 2/3 of Resident Evil 7, it was like, oh, what's going to happen? I'm terrified something might pop out of me and scare the living Jesus out of me.
Like when Jack bursts through the kitchen wall.
Oh my god, yeah. That made me jump out my skin. But the last third, like, it's scary, but because the monsters themselves are scary, not because it's a scary atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's a different type of horror in the last third, in my opinion. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's a scary game. It's a good game, but I don't know. Survival horror is a weird genre for me.
Yeah.
That's just me.
So then, I don't remember this game, Pragmata.
Pragmata was
a post-apocalyptic game set in a world where cats are now holograms.
Yes, I do remember seeing this. I can't remember much of the trailer, but it was interesting. I can't really comment much because of the fact that I can't remember much of it, but I'll have to look back at it. I remember the cats, like seeing the cats glitching out.
Yeah.
And that seemed interesting to me. I don't really know what the game's about or remember, but apocalyptic. But yeah. It looks alright.
As we said before, Horizon Forbidden West. So that
looks like a good game.
It looks good. It's obviously something that's wanted. People loved Horizon Zero Dawn. I like the look of it. I haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn. That's going to horrify people. But yeah, it's very much the same concept. It's expanding upon that story. So it looks good. So I'm sure that's going to be well received by people. Horizon Zero Dawn was one of the games, like Game of the Year that year, contenders, and won some awards. So I'm sure it will be well received. So that's all of the games that were announced. And then obviously the other thing that we didn't really cover, I know Silent mentioned it briefly in the chat, is that there's 2 PS5 consoles. There's one that will have a disc tray, and there's one that is digital only. One would think the digital only one should be cheaper. one would hope.
I think it's going to be the other way around.
But it also depends on the storage capacity situation.
Oh, true. Yeah.
If it is bigger storage because it's being digital download, it possibly could cost more.
And it's going to be bigger games, so you kind of need bigger storage.
So it'll
That's
be
what the size of the console is. It's just a huge ass hard drive in the middle of it.
probably. GameSpot forgot to put Gran Turismo on their list. We said Gran Turismo.
Yeah, we said it.
Yeah, Gran Turismo 7. Yeah, we spoke after Spider-Man.
But yeah, the consoles. Okay, I can see. I'm excited. I, for the most part, enjoy having digital games rather than physical games. However, the satisfaction of putting a disc into a console will never fade, because it's a part of knowing that you own that copy of that game rather than just a digital version that everyone owns. Like,
Yeah.
I can get the feel for it, and I think I'd rather get the disc drive version, but it's definitely showing that for the future of gaming is digital, and it's reaching that point now, which is very cool in my opinion.
Yeah, it is getting to that point, yeah.
Or licking a Switch cartridge. Oh my god, never done that. I'm not going to.
No. I know someone who did, and it was
God.
bad. It was really bad. It was like apparently tasted like earwax.
Oh man.
So
I could find out right now. I'm not going to.
oh no, don't. So yeah. They did talk about the cat.
Oh yeah, Alex, we spoke about Stray. Yeah. Will Monster Hunter get?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, Monster Hunter...
I don't know. I doubt it.
I don't think there'll be a port. If you're going to get something, it will be a new game.
Yeah.
I can't
And
see
that
them
won't be
porting it.
until like a couple of years from now, I think.
I don't think they'll port it. But in saying that, there's a lot of games that I don't think they'd port to the Switch, and they did. So anything is possible. When you're talking about we're getting like we got Borderlands and BioShock on Switch, anything's possible. So yeah, so that was the Sony massive news.
Overall, PS5 thoughts?
I'll get it.
Yeah.
The price point will be my biggest sale point into whether it will be at launch or it will be a little bit down the track.
Definitely getting that instead of an Xbox Series X, that's for sure.
But the Xbox Series X. Okay. The Xbox Series X looks like a boombox speaker, Bluetooth speaker thing.
For those that have watched Star Trek before, I want a console in my room, not a Borg cube. Thank you very much. It looks ugly as sin. It looks terrible.
Cube. It's just like I find it strange that like you got the Xbox who went that path of just safe box design, and then you've got on the other end of the scale with PlayStation who've gone, oh, let's get weird. It was like two ends of the spectrum. And there's the Switch floating in the middle going, well, we're just kind of functional, but we're also a little
Our
weird.
controller's detached.
It's... Did anyone else last night? Xbox made a great previous, but yeah, I was going to say. Xbox One X is literally Xbox... Yeah, no.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realise that.
The controllers are way too big for my Hobbit hands.
What,
Xbox.
I have one right here. Like it's a good controller.
They are a chunky controller.
Yes, but it's very nice. But like I say, the Pro controller is the best one for me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the PS5 controller, I doubt it'll take its place because I'm not too sure of the look of it, but we'll see.
I feel like I could open the Xbox Series X and put drinks in it. And it's a cooler.
If someone does that, or you see someone does that, please send me a picture because that would look hilarious.
The Xbox One controllers have the durability of a dried cracker in a windstorm.
You know what? Okay, I will give it credit. I've had this controller for a long time and it has not broken on me. I've had this since September of 2018 and it's still going.
I know people who have had issues with theirs and I know people who haven't. So it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, I see that.
So yeah. All right, before we get on to probably the final bit of the podcast, which will be all the news to do with the Pokemon Presents that was put out, I am going to quickly talk about our team sponsor, team partner, Juju Energy.
Dim,
I
dim,
actually
dim, dim.
here's one now. Da, 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 da. No, so Juju Energy is a game supplement company. Let me just open up the information I opened before.
So.
I've lost the page.
Oh man, have you heard of Raid Shadow? No, that's not gonna.
Oh my god, really?
Oh my god, the day the podcast gets sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
I'm gonna cry. No.
Yo, contact Raid Shadow. No.
Oh my God. So basically, so Juju is it's an energy drink. It's natural, contains natural caffeine, and they're sugar free. They include vitamins B, C, and D, minerals, antioxidants, and there's also a thing called Lutamax 2020, which helps for people like us who are constantly staring at computer screens. It helps with eye strain, which genuinely I'm actually noticing a difference. I have been having the Juju Energy stuff for about 6 weeks now, and I actually really enjoy it. And I work as a chef in my daytime job, and it helps with that as well. So from my personal experience, it's been a great addition to my regular routine. Comes in an amazing range of flavors. I've currently got blue raspberry is probably my favorite that I've tried so far, and that's really, really nice. So basically, what our partnership with Juju is, if you want to buy from them, you can go to their website and you can use the code AGFAM and you get 10% discount off of your order. And then AG actually gets a financial...
Words. What even are words nowadays?
Financial reward for that, basically, which helps go back into stuff that we can do as a team and a community. Giveaways and all that kind of stuff. So
the money that's made from these types of sponsors will go straight back into the team for content for you guys.
Basically, yeah, and that's what we've sort of got out of this. They've been really hands on. They've been really awesome to deal with. They're very good company to deal with, even from like a purchasing perspective. They've been really awesome. They sell the shakers as well, so you can buy them as well. So if you want to check that out, you can go to jujuenergy.com, and if you want to buy something, use code AGFAM for 10% discount, and obviously it helps us out as a stream team in the community. So yeah, check out Juju. Very awesome.
Thank you very much, Juju.
So yeah. Okay, let's move on to the last bit of the podcast. As I said, there's been so much going on in the gaming world this week. We probably won't even cover half of what's been going on, but we'll cover what we can. The other big thing was the Pokemon Presents.
Yeah. When I start talking, you might have to roll me in at parts because I will just keep talking about this till the cows come home.
There are some good things, and there's some really weird shit.
Yeah. Should we get one of the weird things out of the way first?
Well, once again, I thought we'll go through. If you
have a list, even better.
What they spoke about, and in order, it opened with, as Alex has just said in the chat, Pokemon Smile.
Okay, no, let me just preface this by saying, me and Beaz and us, we're not the target audience. That's an obvious fact. It's still hilarious.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Okay, so in my personal experience, I have younger family members. There's one thing of specifically. She's very young, and I have, with a little bit of a coercion from me, she enjoys Pokemon. I can see this kind of app being helpful for her and for her parents to kind of like get that going, get that what's what I'm looking for? Like that routine going, and kind of like motivate her to do that. I can see, but from that kind of standpoint of being this family member to her, I can understand it. It's still hilarious.
It's still so weird, but it's like I'm not disputing because Pokemon and Nintendo have talked about making quality of life products, and so we've been expecting some things. They've talked about Pokemon Sleep or announced it, and a few other things, right? But this was a weird choice to open your presentation with.
Yeah.
It was just such a weird, like, I was like, everyone's prepped up, excited, and then this weird app with Pokemon running around in a mouth and plaque and like, oh god, catch the Pokemon to protect them from these germs. And I'm like, what's going on? Why is this a thing?
I will have so much respect for Joe Merrick of Cerebi if he does coverage on this game. I will have so much respect for him. It'll be hilarious to look up on Cerebi like, oh, what Pokemon can you get in Pokemon Smile? Let's find out. That'll be hilarious.
It's just, let's see how it goes. I can tell you this much: I'm not getting Pokemon Smile. I have no interest in it whatsoever. But it was a really weird start to the presentation. I'm like, all right, sure. The other one was, I'll save the big one till last. But the Pokemon Cafe Mix game.
Hey, let me just say this. I already have it preloaded on my Switch. It looks amazing.
It looks so cute, and it's a very adorable little game.
A unique puzzle game as well from the gameplay.
Yeah, like it's a puzzle slash. How would I explain it? It's kind of
them.
Yeah, and then you're upgrading and you're building a cafe, and so it's like it's a whole heap of weird elements put together. So I don't know, but overall I'm gonna check it out because it's one of those games that they sort of threw out of left field. And same thing happened with me with Pokemon Quest when that came out a few years ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
I played when I first started streaming 2 years ago. That was one of the first games I played on stream, and believe it or not, that was super popular. That actually got me affiliated, more or less.
Wow.
So I have a very soft spot for that particular game, and it was one of those weird, strange, like out of the box ideas, and it was great. I loved it. And that was designed for a mobile game, but they put it on Switch. So this is another one of those things. I think this is coming to mobile and Switch.
Yes, iOS, Android, and Switch. I assume it's going to be like a touchscreen Switch game. I don't think you'll be able to do it with a controller, but we'll see.
So I think that will be an interesting little game. Pokemon Go is getting Mega Evolutions this year.
That I said it when I was reacting to it. That might get me back into Pokemon Go. I played it here and there this year and the end of last year, but never really got truly back into it. That might get me back into the game.
Victini is coming later this year, and Galarian Farfetch'd have already begun appearing in the game now. Also, what else? I don't know. It was pretty much basically it, except for the big one. The big one, which, okay, since when the Switch first got announced and was in the lead up to going out, I'm like, you know what game would be really good if they did a remake or a port or something of it, was Pokemon Snap. I never, ever, ever, ever would have dreamed that we would be getting a sequel.
Yes. Okay. I'm very excited for this. It looks amazing. The fact that they've included Gen 8 Pokemon in this as well shows it's been in development for a very long time.
They've been, and the graphics in this game, holy crap. I don't know if it's Nintendo making it or so they've got assistants making this game, but holy, my God.
I didn't catch who was making it, but it looks amazing.
Like, it's one of those games that, I had a few people say to me, I don't know if I'd enjoy it. What's the point? It's not catching Pokemon, it's just taking photos and that. And as someone who played the original 64 version back in the day, because I'm old as hell, and it's until you play it, it's hard to understand. It's so much fun, because it wasn't just going along going click and click. It was about, all right, I want to get a nice photo. I want them to do something. I got to, work out a puzzle. I've got to, there was lots of little aspects to it that made it.
Wait until the Pokemon does the best movement or motion, so you can get the best looking picture possible
and get a good score for it. Exactly. Yeah. So now that was on the I would say limited Nintendo 64. We're talking about the Switch here, so this could be an interesting game. The concept, I mean, all right, what if they go down the route of Mega Evolution or Gigantamaxing or...
I've just had a thought. What if they incorporate the gyroscopic controls of the Switch? so you could pick the Switch up and move around and look around that way.
I'm expecting they may look at something like that. Yeah.
That would be very cool.
So there's that sort of mentality with it. I'm super excited. I actually
Yes.
I squealed, and I'm not even going to deny it.
Yes.
I literally was sitting in my chair squealing because it's something I didn't think we were going to get.
But we were hoping one day we would.
Exactly, and the reception to that was what saved that Pokemon Presents, because everything else was sort of like, oh yeah, cool. This was like, holy crap. Because if they'd announced anything else, I don't know if it would have got the same reception unless it was like the Gen 4 remakes.
Talking of which, okay, right. There, just a side tangent. At the end of the Pokemon Present stream, they said they've got another Present stream coming next week, the same day of the week, with a new, quote, new big project they're working on. I'm not giving out hope just yet. I'm one of these people that really, really want one, like a Gen 4 remake, because I think it will look amazing on Switch. And for this one that's just been, I had like the thought of, okay, it'll be nice to see information. I really doubt it will, though I'm not going to get my hopes up. But when that was said, yes, they didn't say what it was, but all of a sudden my hope has just shot through the roof, and I don't know whether to expect it or not, but I'm very excited that it might possibly very well could be.
All we know at this point is that it's a new project, and that's
Generation 4 is my favorite generation Pokemon game. If there is a remake announced for it next week, I don't know what I'll be doing. I don't know how I'll react, but it'll be very
comedic
in a very excited manner. I can't wait.
Here's the thing. I have two mindsets. There's two rumors going around at the moment. One is that it's going to be Gen 4 remake announcement.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, which I'm not opposed to either. I'm not Gen 4 would be amazing because I haven't actually really played an awful lot of Gen 4. It was basically when I went on a lull in video games when that first came out. So that would be cool for me. The other one that they're talking about that's been rumored, and there has been some mocked up screenshots and things, and it all looks kind of legit, is Let's Go Johto.
No.
And I would not be surprised if that was what they end up announcing.
This is the first I've heard about this.
Is it really?
Like a Let's Go game. Well, no, I've spoken to people that'll be like, oh, it'll be Gen 2 remakes, lol. But this is the first I've heard right now about it possibly being a Let's Go Johto. I don't want that to be a thing.
And there has been speculation for a number of reasons, because Nintendo is also known for, in a lot of these directs and whatever, of putting like subtle hints to things coming up in the background and that, and people pointing out that all the Pokemon that were on the shelf behind him at the end were Johto and Kanto.
Oh no.
Or the bulk of them were Johto and Kanto.
Please.
So
please don't let it be Let's Go Johto. Let's Go Kanto was okay, but it was just boring at the end.
What I liked about Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee is that I liked seeing Kanto in the 3D upgraded, amazing style, that kind of thing. But I feel that the gameplay took away from the core Pokemon series, and my guess was that was because it was at a time when when Pokemon Go was at its peak. Not saying that but it was at an absolute peak. So it was like trying to cater to the more casual audience that had started playing Pokemon Go and had bought a Switch. So I as a one-off thing, it was like, cool, this is interesting to start with. For the hardcore Pokemon gamers, they're going to lose interest eventually. And it was all right, cool, we got Sword and Shield, and that has now filled that void, and we're fine. My concern is that if they go down the Johto route, I'll buy it. I'll probably play it, but it won't have the playability that Sword and Shield have had. Even like them going, oh, we're adding in Isle of Armor, and now we're adding in the other one. Shit, what's it called? Crown Tundra. And then it's like, all right, cool. So would I be surprised if they said, we're bringing out Let's Go Johto? No, not at all. Would it be disappointing for the core audience? Yeah. More than likely. And it was partly because Nintendo said when they first brought out Kanto, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, that it was going to be like a once-off title. But those games sold well. And it was because it wasn't so. Pokemon isn't just a kids game anymore. It's a broad generational game, and
Yes.
that Let's Go game catered to a younger audience who cannot necessarily grasp. And I'm not trying to make them sound like idiots because they're not. But there's a lot more involved in the base games, like
No, what you're trying to say, yeah.
Sword and Shield and strategy and whatever else, than the Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu games, where it's like, if they really don't want to battle, it wasn't hard, it wasn't a difficult game, and you were like, oh, I'm going to catch a Pokemon, to start hurling, Pokeballs at it. So
The primary focus of the Let's Go games was the catching mechanic.
yes,
And because a lot of people have been brought into the Pokemon universe through Pokemon Go and its accessibility through the fact it's on mobiles, that kind of like stepping stone into the main Pokemon game, more quote main Pokemon games through Let's Go, was an amazing idea.
yes,
Because it was that stepping stone that people were like, oh, I'm interested in the battling part of things a little bit more. Let's Go is focused on the catching, something I've gotten used to through Pokemon Go, but Let's Go kind of like starts bridging that gap. I've played Let's Go. Let's start playing other Pokemon games. Oh, Sword and Shield's coming out. I'm going to get that.
yeah.
And then I get it, but I don't think now is the time for another Let's Go game.
No.
I just think if it is, it's very misplaced timing wise.
Well, see, the other thing is with Let's Go Johto is that if people are going down the path of it being like a gold and silver crystal remake in the Let's Go style, then Kanto was already in those games. And that's what worries me.
Yeah.
If they take Kanto out and just have Johto, is there enough
Could be
Johto?
worse.
I was going to say, is there enough Johto content to be able to do that? Like I said,
Tell you
this
one
is all
thing,
rumor.
Mount Silver would be interesting with the battle with Red,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
It's an interesting one, and like I said, it's only just sort of come out since the Pokemon Presents, and I hadn't really considered it. The covers that I seen mocked up, and it was really hard to distinguish whether they were mocked up or they were leaked. It was hard to say. Was Let's Go Pichu and Let's Go Marill. I understand the logic behind it because Pichu and Marill came out before Gen 2 did in the movies, and they were almost like mascots because people loved Pichu and people liked Marill because of Tracy having it in the Orange Islands series before Johto started.
Okay, so here's my thinking. If they were to do that, wouldn't it make a bit more sense to do Pichu and Togepi, because they're both baby Pokemon, and Togepi was also a huge Pokemon. It was a Misty's Pokemon in the anime.
My thought process with that is Togepi is probably more limited than Marill from a battling perspective for novice players.
Oh yeah, true, good point. Yeah, but Pichu can't attack at level 5 either.
Yeah, but that's easier to alter. They'll just go, oh, we'll give it Thunder Shock or Spark or something just to make it so it's easier for players. Whereas Togepi doesn't really have a move set until level,
Till evolved.
So basically, that would be the only reason I would think they wouldn't go with Togepi.
Maybe. I don't know. I just don't think...
As much as I love Togepi, I think Togepi is amazing, but like, not from a battling perspective, but as a Pokemon, it's adorable.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a good game to release at this time. And I don't think it would benefit well from being released.
No. But this is Nintendo, or this is Game Freak. They could make a weird decision, and the Let's Go games were very left field at the time because they were different. They weren't, and they made it abundantly clear at the time. These aren't mainstream Pokemon games.
Yeah.
We are developing a mainstream Pokemon game, which later obviously was Sword and Shield. But this was like, so it's an interesting one, and I seen it, and I thought I'm going to bring it up. I didn't realize that you didn't know about it, so that's made this an even more interesting conversation. But it was an interesting one.
I mean, this is also coming from me, someone who is still hoping for the other idea of it being a Gen 4 remake that's shown. But
even if you took that out of the equation, it's still not going to be like, yes, let's go Johto.
Yeah.
It's not. I love Johto and I love Kanto, but I don't want a Let's Go Johto game necessarily. I'll play it because it's Pokemon. I'll probably give it a go, and we're all like that. We still whinge about this and then go, oh, it's Pokemon, we'll give it a go. But it's just not what they've got a massive opportunity with Sword and Shield being so popular, to bring back a remake of, say, Gen 4, because that's, battling mechanics and everything else, because people are onto Sword and Shield. This opportunity is here to take, and it will be a massive misstep if they don't go down that route and they go down Johto. It will sell, and that's the thing. They're looking at money as opposed to longevity.
It would definitely sell, but a Gen 4 remake would sell harder.
I don't think Let's Go Johto will sell anywhere near as many copies, if it is a thing, as what Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee did. It just won't.
Definitely wouldn't.
And also, if they're going to go down that path, why would they pick Pichu if they use Pikachu in the first one?
Oh, that's a good point. I mean, to specify that Gen 2 had baby Pokemon added, I guess.
Well, if that was
Elekid and Magby.
That would be so bizarre. People are going to look at that and go, "Oh, Elekid is the mascot for this game." As much as I like Elekid, it's like, yes. Oh, Magby.
But like Gen 2's gimmick was like, oh, there's Pokemon eggs now, and you can get baby Pokemon now.
Igglybuff and Cleffa.
Yo, I want to go through a Gen 2 game with Igglybuff, and that's it.
I'll take 10 of these, please. I'll have 10 Igglybuff games. Thanks.
Oh, that's a side question: Clefable or Wigglytuff?
Ooh,
I have my preference.
Clefable.
Oh, you disappoint me.
It's weird because I like Jigglypuff more than Clefairy, but I like Clefable more than Wigglytuff. And
Wigglytuff is my boy. Wigglytuff hits.
I love Wigglytuff. Don't get me wrong, but Clefable is Clefable's a good one.
It is a hard decision. It's like it's really hard to like define why you'd want one over the. Anyway, that was just a side tangent thing. I just thought of a funny question, but Wigglytuff is my boy, man.
Yeah. So
no, Let's Go game for Generation 2, please. No.
Put it this way, the next podcast should be after the next announcement, if we've worked out the timing. So it'll be interesting to see. If we start the podcast with us frowning, you know that we've got Let's Go Johto.
If I haven't shown up, then Let's Go Johto is revealed.
Tomer, it might be just you and me, because Cinder's gone on strike.
Oh, legit. Oh my god, I'm going to be so sad. I'm going to be leading the charge. I'm going to be leading the revolution if that game gets revealed.
It's just, it's such a I'll post the screenshot that I found. I'll put it in the Discord so that everyone can see what I was talking about.
Oh, which Discord, Beaz?
Oh, well, that would be the AG Discord, Cinder. Smooth segue.
I'm sorry, that was cringe. Oh my god. Anyway,
there it is. There, magically appearing from the AG account that I'm not controlling. So if you want to join the Discord, feel free to join the Discord, of course. I think most of you are there anyway, but we would love to have you there. And it's not just about the stream team; it's a community, and that's the other side of this.
It's a family.
The stream team is an extra part of that, but it's one big family. And there's no level of what I would call elitism, if that makes sense. If you're on the stream team, none of us go, we're better than you. We're not. We're gamers. I'm better than Cinder, but that's a whole different discussion.
Okay. Okay.
Hang on, really, man. No,
okay.
But that's the point. Is that whilst I'm the leader and so is doing this and so is doing that, it's all about one big happy family atmosphere, and that's what we're trying to achieve, and we feel that we do. So that's probably a good point to start the wrap up on. So if you want to keep up with what's happening, you can follow the AG Twitter account, which is there in the chat.
Very attractive purple button that says follow with an empty heart. Click that, you'll be following.
Oh yes, and if you want to keep an eye on this channel, obviously, the podcast will be broadcast here live once a week. It will change week to week depending on the guest. If you miss parts of this, for those of you who are listening, watching on YouTube or listening on the platforms that I'm going to work out, well, I'm in the process of. It will be available in both a video format on our YouTube channel, and it will be available in an audio format on some platforms, which we have already started investigating, and hope this episode will be up there already. So that if you miss it, you can listen to it or watch it at your own leisure, which is important to us because we understand that not everyone, time zones, work, etc., can be here for the podcast. We have enjoyed the idea of having a live audience. I think it's good to have that interaction. It gives us a chance to talk to you guys. You know, if you've got questions or you've got comments or whatever, you can chuck them in the chat and we can see what's happening.
Get involved in the conversation.
Greetings from your future selves. No.
Hi, Cinder. This is weird, isn't it?
No, well, if this Cinder was greeting the Cinder in the future is crying in a corner somewhere. So,
okay, let me cover both bases. Wow, does the Germ 4 look amazing? Or, I'm sorry, I know. Trust me. There we go. All sorted.
God. So yeah. So that's always the chance. The other thing, if you want to keep up with news, is to check out the AG website and read the This Week in AG blog. It goes up usually once a week, unless it's a quiet week or I have run out of time because I have a life that I have to attend to occasionally.
Who has a life nowadays?
So feel free to check that out. If you want to check out our individual stream channels, here is those. There is Cinder. No, that says Andy Ari. Well, I fucked that up.
I will type mine in manually. It is all good.
Hang on, no, I've got that. There's a shout out command too. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Last scene playing Sword and Shield. Oof. Oof. See, I told you I'm trying to erase him. It's working. And if you want to follow my chat, I bet I got mine right.
Hopefully.
If I haven't got mine right, it will also say Andy Ari. Oh, it does. What's going on? Maybe it's a glitch.
Oh man.
Go follow Andy Ari.
Yeah.
Maybe Anne's been hacking. No.
Oh my god, imagine.
Hang on. Shout out DragonBeaz. I was last playing it. Yeah, that's not a game I play a lot of.
Yeah.
I went to a wedding.
Also, shout out to Riley for making all this look amazing in the first place.
Yes. Riley does all of our artwork for our overlays and that stuff. Our emotes are done by Andy Ari, and our logo and that kind of graphical stuff is actually done by Toma. We've got some very talented, artistically talented people. Artistically talented people.
If you're watching this on YouTube, hopefully all links will be in the description.
Yeah.
I'm saying that because it's not my job and I'm throwing someone under the bus for saying that. So
that would be me.
Sorted.
That would be me.
Have fun, bees. But
Thanks.
yeah, links will be below in the description. Make sure you check everyone out. Yeah.
So so next week we will be back, hopefully with timer, and actually time zones working and stuff. So yeah, I've been in. So I'm DragonBeaz.
I've been Cindershots, mate.
Have you? You've been Cindershots. Were you something else before?
Yeah, I'm now Andy Ari, apparently.
We're Andy Ari. You've been watching the AuraCast, and we'll see you next week.
See you in a bit, guys.
Bye.